Nipple shields are a tool that many new moms use at some point during their breastfeeding journey. In this video, I'm going to teach you about the different types, how to find the right size, when you should use one, and then of course, how to use one. My name is Katie Clark and I'm an international board certified lactation consultant. I help families around the world find a way to make breastfeeding work for them. Before we dive into nipple shields, I would love for you to grab my free troubleshooting guide, which you can get in the description for the video. A nipple shield is a tool that is often used if a mom is struggling with painful or damaged nipples, a baby is struggling to latch, or a baby is refusing the breast in favor of the bottle. Nipple shields sometimes get a bad rap, and there's good reason for that. Sometimes I think they are prescribed far too quickly and without the mom and baby working with a lactation consultant to find the root cause of the issues. I see nipple shields helping to extend the breastfeeding relationship frequently, but I also frequently see it making breastfeeding a lot more difficult for families, sometimes when they don't even need to be using one. If you're struggling with breastfeeding and you think a nipple shield might be a good tool, I would strongly recommend working with a lactation consultant who can help you go through the issues you're having and help you to troubleshoot. A nipple shield is typically considered a short-term solution, though there are moms that will use it for the entire duration of their breastfeeding journey. There are a lot of different nipple shields out there, and they are typically made of silicone. However, beyond the silicone, there are so many different brands. There's ones that look like bottles, there's ones that are different colors, there's different shapes. And that's where working with a lactation consultant can come in handy, because they can help you figure out exactly which one is going to work best for you. First, I want to go through the different types of nipple shields. I have a variety of them here with me, but this is not all inclusive of every option that's available out there. I'm going to start with sharing some of the different types of nipple shields, though keep in mind that this is not all inclusive and there are a lot of different brands out there. I am going to put in the description the links to these different options, but again, working with a lactation consultant to figure out the best option for you is a good idea. I'm going to start with my favorite option. This is a cherry style nipple shield. I like these because they generally help to encourage a nice wide latch. They also are cut out in the center like this, which makes it so your baby is still getting some of that direct breast contact. They are generally pretty thin, and this style specifically is from Lactation Hub. They have 16, 18, and 21. You're gonna find a variety of sizes, which I will talk about in the next section of this video. This option works generally pretty well with most of the moms that I work with, so it's usually the first one that I recommend trying. This is a Medela one, and it is similar in style, but you might not be able to see, but it has a little bit more of a mound at the end. I don't have as much success with these, but some families really like them. It does have cutout at the top. I find that they're a little bit more, flimsy, and I feel like they don't stick as well, but some people find these helpful, and they are available at most stores like Target and Walmart and Amazon. This is the most unique style. You can see it looks very much like a bottle. I don't use this one hardly ever, but there are some babies that this works really well with, especially those babies that are very familiar with the bottle and they prefer this type of feel. This is from Haka, but there are different brands that create these kinds. This is a unique kind from Back to Mom. I have heard mixed reviews on them. Some people love them, some people don't love them, but you can see that they have that they are cut out at the top to encourage that direct breast contact. But then at the top, you will see that this is very different than most shields because it is cut out. So that gives the baby more direct contact to the nipple, which I think is a fantastic idea. Something else that's interesting, this is their nipple shield weaning kit that progressively gets shorter. So you can see right there, that's longer, the tip, and then it gets smaller and smaller. The benefit of this is that you can go down a little bit shorter and shorter until you get to the point where your baby has a lot more nipple in their mouth than the silicone. Again, I've heard mixed reviews on how well this works, but it is a better option than cutting off of the tip of your nipple shield if you are wanting to wean from it. I've heard that tip online, but it's not really a great idea just because there can be jagged edges. Some of the silicone can come off in your baby's mouth, and it is just not recommended by the manufacturers. This is one from Sriracha Chill, and what I like about it is that it is colored. So it turns blue when it is not touching skin. When it's on your skin, it generally turns back to the clear. You can kind of see what that looks like. And that's mainly just so you don't lose them. And so I think that's kind of a cool design. It also has these petals around the side, which again, encourage more of that contact with the breast. It has a good style, and I think they have a variety of different sizes. And you can get these on Amazon. And finally, this is a new brand called Lololo. I might be saying that wrong, but I kind of like them because they are thin, and flexible, but I feel like that they're sturdy enough that they're not going to get all wrinkled up. They aren't quite the same style as the cherry style. I don't know if you can see that. This one's a little bit more tapered at the end. This one's more of a cone shape. So it may depend on what your baby likes. But one thing that's unique about these is that they come with this sticky pad. So you put this on your breast and then you put this directly on top of it. One of the issues a lot of people have with nipple shields is that the baby pushes it off, it falls off, and they can be a little cumbersome. So I really like this design that they've created specifically for their nipple shields. So you can put those on there and then you don't have to worry about it's very sticky. So it's going to keep your nipple shield on there, which is helpful, especially when those babies are throwing their arms around. I also like that they're colored just because you can find them. Nipple shields do disappear quite easily. So I like that design with both the Lolo and with the Syrah nipple shields. Now let's talk a little bit about sizing. In general, you're going to want to follow the manufacturer instructions. I usually recommend getting a nipple shield that is the closest to your actual nipple diameter. So if you are measuring at about 18 millimeters, then you are going to want to get a 19 or an 18 or whatever size you can find that's closest to that. I have heard recently of some lactation consultants actually recommending that you go up to the largest size that you can possibly find. The idea behind this is that it's going to encourage your baby to get a wider gape and latch at the breast rather than a shallow latch. I haven't actually tried this in practice, but I thought it was an interesting idea. I've seen other lactation consultants that they feel like this would just make it so there's more air getting into the baby's mouth and may encourage more compensations. But you can try both and see what works best for you. Currently, I do recommend getting a size that is around the same size of your nipple, but that may change in the future if I see that this other method works better. To find your nipple measurement, I like these circle rulers. You can get them on Amazon for just like a couple of dollars. You want to put your nipple in until it's snug, and added benefit is that you can also figure out a good way to get your nipple or your flange size. The flange size, we definitely want to measure like the diameter of the tip of your nipple. And that can be pretty similar with the nipple shields. So if you're going to use one of these, just kind of go through until your nipple fits in there nice and snugly like that. Let's see, kind of like that one. Now I'm going to talk about how to put a nipple shield on. It's really not that difficult, but I do find that when you are first starting out with it, it can be a little overwhelming. And if you just kind of plop it on your breast, it's going to fall off and it's not going to work well. So I'm going to pull out my handy dandy silicone breast here and show you how to put on one of these nipple shields. So I always like to put it kind of upside down and invert it a little bit. So invert the nipple. You can see that I kind of pushed it through. And then you will put that over your nipple and slowly pull down like that. I'll get a little bit closer so you can see that again. So invert. Can be a little tricky there. So invert. Place over your nipple, and then peel back. And generally it should stay on there, but if you're having trouble with it, I'm going to show you how to use this one from Lolo. So this is very, very sticky, and you can put that on like this, and then you will kind of apply it. I still like to do the inverting, so kind of place that down. And then that stays on there much more successfully. I don't think I put that on there right because it's not lining up, but it's still staying on there and, not flopping off. Like I will show you this other one, what that would be like without that. It stays on there, not too, but falls off a little bit more easily. It falls off. So with this one, like this bottle one, you're not going to like push that all the way through, but still invert it a little bit and then slowly press it down onto your nipple. This one actually is quite suctiony, but that might be because this is a silicone breast. In this video, I'm not going to discuss how to wean from a nipple shield just because that is a delicate process that I would do with a lactation consultant. But if you want to get a head start, you can go to the description and I have an article on my website where you can learn about how to wean from the nipple shield. Nipple shields are a tool. As I mentioned earlier, I find that sometimes this makes it so a mom doesn't give up on breastfeeding before she wants to. but I also find it can be a hindrance to a mom breastfeeding long term. That's where working with a lactation consultant is so important. And so if you need help with your breastfeeding journey in any way, whether it's with a nipple shield or something else, be sure to consider booking with my team. We work virtually, worldwide, and also locally here where I live in Colorado. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below and check out the different resources I've included in the description for the video. I'd love for you to hit subscribe and let me know what other videos you would like me to share in the future.